What channel do you want me on? Yeah, F4. Okay, hold on. Just everybody wait. Everybody wait 1 second. Nobody fly. No, just stay 1 second. I'm gonna get on to F4. Okay, hold on. F2, 3, 4. Okay, I got it. Oh, what the hell? Hold. No, just hold on 1 more second. I'm almost there. No, I do know. I'm just pushing the button. It just keeps on changing. Well, that was embarrassing. I really thought that they had put that fix into Betaflight 3.4. This video, like so many others that I make, is inspired by two things. Number one, your questions. In the last couple months, I have started to get questions from people asking, why doesn't the button on my video transmitter work? Why doesn't my Tramp Wand work anymore with Betaflight? And it's inspired by my own experience. You see, the other weekend, I was out at one of our fly days in Knoxville, and I was trying to use this very quad. In case you're curious, this is the Catalyst Machineworks Massive Droner. And until I met Neil Whiteley in Houston a few months ago at a quad camp event, I didn't, call me naive, I didn't realize that the name Massive Droner was a play on words for how a man might feel while flying it. Thanks, Neil. Thanks for that. So in Houston, Neil gave me his Massive Droner. And it has a vTX on it. It's got a push button vTX, and I didn't realize that it also had SmartAudio. So at this race day, I went to change my channel, and well, pretty much that scene that I acted out for you played out. And it turns out that in one of the recent updates of Betaflight, it's Betaflight 3, I don't think it's 3.3.0, but somewhere in the Betaflight 3.3, they changed the way that SmartAudio works, and it's causing this problem. Let me just pause here for a second. And so I'm saying SmartAudio, and that's the term we all know, but SmartAudio is actually a TBS specific protocol. So TBS Unified Video Transmitters use the SmartAudio protocol, and so do a few others like the Race Day Quads Mach 2. But there's another main protocol that's used, which is Immersion RC Tramp Telemetry, which is used, well, most famously by the Immersion RC Tramp, but also the Holybro Atlatl V1 uses Tramp Telemetry, and so do a few others. In general, I like to refer to this feature set as vTX remote control. We all say SmartAudio, but that's kind of like saying I'm going to Xerox this paper. Xerox is a name brand, and so SmartAudio. So I didn't realize that this quad had vTX remote control, so I just went to push the button. And what they did in Betaflight is they made it so that the flight controller will always overwrite any other attempts to change the transmit power or the channel, such as pushing the button, such as using, if you've got a Furious FPV stealth video transmitter that has a Bluetooth interface, that it'll overwrite that. If you've got a Tramp with a little NFC tag and you're using the Wand or the Tramp smartphone app, the flight controller will overwrite all of that stuff. The only way to change the channel and output power when you're using vTX remote control is through things that interface with the flight controller, such as the OSD, or a Lua script. Those things change the flight controller's idea of what channel and output power you should be on, and then the flight controller makes the relevant changes. When you push the button, it changes, but then the flight controller, a fraction of a second later, comes back and goes, no, not like that. So one workaround that people have suggested is if you've got an Immersion RC Tramp and you're going to a race where they're going to be using the wands, then you just disable it before you go to the race. But that's not the best option, is it? Because you really want to be able to use both. I want to highlight one more way that this problem manifests, and this actually came to my attention after I finished recording this video, so I've had to kind of try to find the best place to stick this in. The other way the problem manifests is that even when you change your settings with the OSD or with a Lua script, even when you do some flight controller related change, the quadcopter sometimes still doesn't remember the change after you power cycle it. So you'll use the Lua script to set it to Fat Shark 2, 200 milliwatts, and then the next time you power cycle, it's back at 25 milliwatts, and you don't know why. I haven't been able to figure out what causes this problem. I've never had it happen to me. On my case, on all my quads, whenever I use the Lua script or the OSD, then it remembers the changes in between reboots. But if you're running into this problem, here is the fix. the settings you're concerned with are vTX underscore band, vTX underscore channel, and vTX underscore power. This is where in the command line you can change the power, channel, and band that the flight controller expects the quad to be on. What normally happens is that when you change the settings using the Lua script or using the on-screen display, then these settings get updated. But apparently there are some scenarios where that doesn't happen, and if that's the case, you can say set vTX underscore power equals 4 or whatever power level that you're looking for, and it will then it'll remember that going through the next one. But it still doesn't answer the question of why some quads seem not to remember, and I'm afraid I don't know the answer to that. The problem is, how do you know who is the master of the configuration for the vTX? Because if you had a vTX that somehow had another configuration and you put it on your quad and your quad was on race 4, you would want the vTX to come up on race 4. You might just as well say, hey, just because I changed my vTX, I still want this quad on race 4. And so that's a scenario you could imagine where the opposite behavior, you would see it as a bug. And what they've decided, or what happens if you set the vTX channel and power, but the vTX is disconnected or not responding, and then when it connects, it hasn't been updated. They raised some use cases where you would want it the other way. And they said, basically, we just have to decide who is in charge. Is it the vTX, in which case the button or the wand would take priority, or is it the flight controller? And they've decided it should be the flight controller. So it seems like there is support from the Betaflight devs for the idea that you can flip a switch on your transmitter and cause the vTX to become authoritative. But from what I'm gathering with the disarm, the low power disarm, and other functions like that, the flight controller is the only one who knows when the quad is armed or disarmed, and so the flight controller has to be absolutely authoritative about what the power state of the vTX is. Like, I'm not using low power disarm. So can I just have it back the way it was under 3.2? Well, not today. Sorry about that. But at least now I've explained to you why the problem's happening. Happy flying.